Wooden boards do not hit back. Welcome everybody to my favorite stance, the visionary stance. And who other than Steve Jobs to represent more or less the visionary stance, because for many things known, most of all his main contribution was being a visionary. Having this thought about what the world would look like years from now, knowing where technology can take us, and then connect the dots backwards to what it is that you actually need to do to get there. It is about painting the sky and the big audacious goals that we move towards, but it's mostly for me about saying what we are not going to do. And I think that's a very valid point and strong point of a true visionary. So let's explore it, and let's start by maybe recapping something that you may have done in a previous training, like a professional Scrum product owner training, which is the product vision template. And if you haven't done it, it's an awesome place to start. It's from the book from Geoffrey Moore called Crossing the Chasm, and it's more or less urban legend that he had so many people pitching ideas to him that at some point he asked them to structure it. And what they came up with was the product vision templates, and it's still a very powerful technique today for product owners. So let's see what it is. Basically, for each product that you try to present or market, you list for whom it is, so for which market segment. And a market segment is not male, female, black, white, east, west, or this, but a market segment would be a group of people that share a common problem. For example, product owners that have reached a certain maturity level and want to move on. So market segment who has this particular problem. That's how you define a market. And the name of my product in a particular category. So this helps you to position your product. Are we competing in a B2B market or a B2C market? What does the playing field look like? So for who, the is a that. And then we list the unique selling point. And notice that this is not plural. Your product deviates by one particular point at least, but it's good to emphasize this one single thing. If everything else would go away, what would be the one single thing that would make you buy this product? What is your unique capability? Unlike the competition. And mind you, competition is not competition that makes the same kind of product, but solves the same problem. So for example, for Evernote, the electronic note-keeping tool, pen and paper is a competitor. So it is an alternative that solves the same problem. However, our product makes a difference. It solves the problem in a different way, which is compelling and useful and valuable to our users. Most product owners have a template like this for their product. If you don't have it, make one. You need this template to be able to sell your product in a split second to somebody, to align people and say, look, this is a brilliant idea, but this is not where we're making this product for. We're making it for this market or this problem, or this is what our unique proposition should be. So this should be in your standard toolbox. Now, to bring people to the next level and actually to help them more to sell the product, because it's more about selling and influencing people, we have what I call the 3x3 framework. And it is a very simple framework that helps you with storytelling. So it helps you as a product owner to tell a compelling story about what it is that the product does and why it is useful and why it's the best thing since sliced bread. And let me run you through the 9 steps of the 3x3 framework, and we will use the new advanced product owner training as a metaphor or as an example. And you will see there are 3 main stages in there. There's a first stage which is the hook, what I call the hook. It's where you try to capture the audience, try to connect them to the topic and make them interested and continue to listen to them. And then the second part is more about building focus and building a belief that this could work, or that you understand them and that you have a solution for them. And the final part is the punchline, in where we sort of deliver it, the solution. And I don't typically like to talk a lot about the solution itself. It's not about technical bits and bytes. It is that we can solve your problem. And we hammer it home with the ethos part, with why this is the best thing since sliced bread, why it's world peace, why it's good for the world. So let's run through this. Status quo. When we look at product owner training in the world today, there is a big problem. And basically you can see it when you go online, when you read blogs, when you go to conferences, when you go on Twitter. You will see many people complaining and saying, Agile doesn't work, Scrum doesn't work, we're stuck and it doesn't help us, it doesn't drive us further, it's useless. And it has huge real-life implications. Like, I have a friend who came to an investor and she had a brilliant idea about a product, but she failed to sell it because she was talking technical speak. She was talking about the technical solution and how wonderful it worked and the technology behind it, but she didn't really translate it into his language about what value it could bring and what problems it could solve, what kind of market could be addressed by this. And as a result, she didn't get the funding for this brilliant product, which is horrible. But at the same time, it also gave me an insight. So there's an opportunity for us to engage with product owners and to teach them new skills, not just to generate ideas and work with business models and come up with brilliant new concepts for new products, but actually sell them. Sell them, maybe not directly to end customers, but at least sell them internally to the people who hold your budget, to the people that you need to convince for resources or to get people on your teams at all, or get priority. So really drive the product home. And in many ways it's like martial arts, where you have these amazing skilled practitioners where they have these amazing punching and striking skills, but then they use it to punch wooden boards and not practice really in a real life scenario. And it is like Bruce Lee said, wooden planks do not hit back. We came up with a solution, and the solution is the 3x3 framework. It is simple, it is memorable, it has an easy flow, and it teaches product owners to tell a compelling story about what it is that their product is doing. And in the end of the day, that is what product ownership should be about, because as a trainer, I think it is unfair to send all these product owners out there in the wild west that corporate enterprise is, and don't arm them properly for the battle that they're facing when they try to sell their product. That's the 3x3 framework. And I hope you enjoy it and I hope you work with it and become better in product ownership. And remember at all times that you are on a mission to sell the product every day to all the people around you, to inspire them and to drive them forward and to create a better product. And maybe become a little bit like Steve Jobs. Thank you so much for joining us on this online training. We had a great time talking to you guys and exploring the muddy waters of product management. We talked in this training about the 6 stances of the product owner. And to refresh your memory, we talked about the customer representative, we talked about the visionary, and we talked about how you run experiments to figure out if this vision actually is true. We talked about how to influence your environment to make sure it actually happens, but also to collaborate with them so they sort of feel like they're in the same boat with you. And ultimately, we talked about how to make decisions as a product owner in such a way that people will buy into it.
But this was only a brief introduction, obviously. So if you want to learn much more about these 6 stances of the product owner, come join us in the Advanced Product Owner Training. If you want to stay up to date with new content, blogs, articles, maybe some tools, tips and tricks, Follow us on Medium / The Value Maximizers. And check out our LinkedIn profiles and follow us there.
Below or there or somewhere on the page. So
So
thank you and see you soon.
that's a wrap.